Welcome, seekers of the unknown, as we pull back the veil between the living and beyond. Unraveling questions that plague our minds, and oftentimes presenting the evidence that may prove them true. Let us take you on a journey where paranormal becomes normal, and where what is right behind you just might be echoes of the afterlife or something more. But fair warning, once you step into the supernatural with us, you might just stay haunted.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Stay Haunted.
Hello.
Y'all saw Todd and Carmela last week, but now we are coming to you live, Audra and I, from Toledo, Ohio.
Hopefully we didn't make too much of a train wreck last week of the episode.
You guys did it was a great show.
Although at the end, my finger had a little issue trying to click out of the show at the end. I double tapped a couple times.
Keep your finger issues to yourself. That's personal.
It certainly is.
I try.
I will have to say I am very proud of Todd. I put it on him to make sure he did the Stay Haunted at the end.
Oh.
And good Lord, did he have a Jerry Springer moment that was phenomenal. He did a great job.
Great.
Thank you.
I overpronounce stuff.
Ending, my little.
I know. I thought we were going to do it together.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know. Well, next time we do solo. I'm sorry.
You're getting the stank eye over there.
We talked about it, but it's okay.
So you can tell by Carmela's face that Todd really did have some finger issues.
Yes, he certainly did.
Woo! I started the episode with a smack.
Just right off. What do we say? No,
off the rails. Right off the rails.
Right off the rails.
But we talked about it.
Hello to everybody in the chat.
Yeah, hello to everybody in the chat. Thank you for coming back this week.
Welcome back.
We appreciate it.
Audra and I are excited because not only are we in a new state, we're in our new house.
With family.
We're with family. Audra actually got to spend Mother's Day with her sisters and her mom and only had to drive 3 minutes down the street.
I'm okay hiding.
The real exciting part is after they finished their Mother's Day brunch, we got to go watch my nephew and Audra's nephew play football.
See, that's exciting.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we were super excited because in North Carolina, we were out in BFE and didn't know anybody, and we'd have been sitting on our
derrieres.
Hello, Elizabeth.
Hello.
Welcome.
New here.
Hello, Elizabeth.
Welcome, Elizabeth.
Welcome.
Hey, Mary Beth.
Everett.
Nice to Everett. So, guys, real quick promo for Stay Haunted. Pay really close attention, guys. We are booked all the way to July.
Yay.
We got some really good guests coming. You might see a little teaser for the Gettysburg Bash. You might see we've got some Todd guys. So you guys know, I produce the show. I get everything ready. Todd is the one that puts out all the shorts and the promos, and he's the one that does all those fancy videos you guys see before the show starts. He does a fantastic job. Yep. Todd also did a little digging this weekend and found a podcast group.
Yes, I did.
And started searching, saying, hey, this is our podcast. You guys should check it out. Anybody interested in being guests? We actually have the possibility of an alchemist from Australia that might be on the show in July.
Maybe.
So
yeah, that's actually Elizabeth who was in the chat.
Yeah. So
awesome.
So the combined efforts of the host that you're seeing here has got Stay Haunted. We're going international, bitches.
That's right. We're reaching far and wide.
Far and wide as we can reach.
Yep, absolutely.
And remember, guys, it's not just about, we've shown evidence on the last few episodes because the people that are coming on have evidence from the locations that they're at. We've got PPIT coming on next week, which is going to be the majority of the show is going to be evidence. But we are everything paranormal. We had Aaron and Carrie on, right? That they're the Reiki healers and metaphysical.
They do Bigfoot, UFO. I mean, we can kind of do.
We'll get into the cryptids a little bit here and there. We might even get into aliens. But if those of you don't believe the aliens exist out there, you're smoking some really good shit.
We had Andy on, Andy, last week. Andy, he was doing a live the night before on Sunday night. And then Monday, we talked about it because he was out in Gettysburg where he lives. He saw some flashing lights and shit was there for like an hour and a half.
Sure.
So Stay Haunted is just not paranormal spirits type stuff. We will get into everything we possibly can that has to do with the paranormal and the supernatural. So make sure you guys tune in.
And if anybody out there has something that they want to maybe learn more about, give us a shout. Let us know.
Yeah, let us
We'll
know.
be happy to talk about anything that y'all want to talk about too.
Well, and not to ruin it for you guys, but there are going to be shows where it's just the four of us talking. We might talk about different subjects as far as different types of evidence, different types of equipment, different types of investigating, different locations that we've been to. We might show some of the evidence that we've caught multiple times at multiple places. But you got to stay haunted to stay haunted. And you got to watch Stay Haunted because it's all staying haunted, right?
That's right.
Say that 5
I
times.
love Todd's shirt. Look at Todd's shirt. Got ghosts.
Got ghosts. It says Gettysburg does on the back.
Oh, okay.
Cool.
2 months to the bash, y'all. If
I'm so excited.
you didn't book your room, you're screwed because it booked up like a month after.
Yep.
Pretty much.
In the good side,
We
not the
got,
bad
and then
side.
we got Penhurst Penhurst Paracon this upcoming weekend.
Oh, nice.
Fantastic. We
Busy,
have
busy.
family coming in and we're unpacking. So
It's
but-
an unpacking party.
no, they're not coming here to unpack.
Not coming here to help.
Yeah.
Listen, offer them a beverage.
They drink whether they're helping or not. And
Yeah.
once you give them a beverage, ain't no way in hell.
Yeah, and definitely then throw helping it right out the window.
Nope.
No, I unloaded both 16-foot containers last Wednesday by myself in 7 hours.
Oof.
Crazy.
It would have been more work if you had help, I think.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we're excited that you guys had a safe travel and made it there safely and starting to get settled into your new place and can't wait till we come out there and visit you guys. And
Give me a few months. We'll have a few locations.
I know Carmela wants to go.
One for sure location. So Tatagani Cemetery.
Right.
Oh, the cemetery.
Yeah, the cemetery. That's where we
Lots of
want.
bars.
I was talking about.
We're good.
Yes, and lots of bars. Yeah.
Awesome.
Our
So,
favorite one's right down the street. So, so Todd, why don't you tell our audience what we got tonight?
So our guest tonight is is Beth O'Brien. She's a good friend. We met her actually at Selma Mansion by chance on a Halloween investigation, and she told us about a location that she manages with a gentleman, Mike Brown, who unfortunately is under weather. He's not able to join this evening, but we do have Beth O'Brien here. They manage West Hill Manor in Burlington, New Jersey. It's literally, like I said, it's 10 minutes from us. So when I say we're fortunate and blessed, we got West Hill 10 minutes from us. We got Peachfield Plantation that dates back 200 years, and a family owned it. The Burr family owned it for 200 years. And then Mount Holly Prison, White Hill Mansion, Fort Mifflin's a 40 minute drive for us. So we're really blessed in having a lot of locations very close to us. But West Hill, we've been there multiple times now. And we've had some really great experiences, and we're looking forward to having Beth on as our guest tonight to share a little insight and history about this amazing location. And it's got two really big historic, memories associated with
Connections.
the connections to history. So with that, bring on Beth.
Mike Brown might be a little green tonight, but Beth is with us. Everybody say hello to Beth O'Brien. Hey,
Hello,
Beth.
Miss Beth.
Hey, Beth.
Beth.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Thank you very much for being
Come
here.
on.
So tell all of our audience what you and Mike do and how you're connected to West Hill.
Well, we are in charge of a place called West Hill Manor, and it's in Burlington, New Jersey, on Oxmead Road, and it is about 15 minutes from White Hill Manor, the other famous place that people investigate, which they do get them confused a lot. So, Todd, you're not the
That's
only
me.
one, or Camille.
I do. I do.
Yeah. I've had people that say they come for a paranormal investigation and they say, "Oh, I'm here." I'm like, "Where? Outside? Where are you?" "We're at White Hill." I'm like, "No,
Oh,
you got to."
jeez.
So it's
Here we
easy.
go down
Everybody does. Yeah, everybody does it.
You go
So
15 minutes that way.
yeah, so it's all good. It's all good. And we help to preserve the history of the house by having paranormal investigations, but they also have other events there. They have like bridal showers and they do other things there.
Oh, wow.
So
Bridal
yeah.
shower.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So can
Yeah.
you tell us a little bit of the history of West Hill?
So I'm bad at that stuff. Here we go. So West Hill Manor, a family named Susanna, Emlyn, and Samuel. They had the house built in the 1700s, like 1797, and it was completed by 1799. They lived in Philadelphia. They were Quakers, and they had it built because of the yellow fever that was going on in Philadelphia. So they wanted a place to go, and they wanted a vacation home. But by the time it got built, they decided to stay there because of the yellow fever. So they stayed there. They were Quakers. They were really wealthy family, and the lady of the house, Susanna, she ended up getting breast cancer at 1814. She got breast cancer, and what happened was back then they didn't know what it was. So they actually went to the UK and they brought these doctors back. Dr. Physics was one of them. Brought them back to West Hill Manor, and they said no. It was about the cancer tumor was like a size of an ostrich egg. So they said no, you have to get this out. So what happened was they ended up doing surgery at West Hill. It was one of the first only breast cancer surgeries and survivor in the state of New Jersey in this house at that time period. And back then, you either died from you bled out or the pain. There was no pain meds, there was no anesthesia, no antiseptic back then. So she actually lived for 5 years. And then the cancer came back and she passed away. Then do you want me? Then the second, you want me to keep going?
Yeah, keep going.
Yeah, give the whole history and then.
Yeah. Okay. So then the second family that lived. Then after that, it was she passed away. It was left to her relatives, and then Elijah Gurney, she purchased that second family that purchased it in 1850s around that time, and she was actually she actually corresponded back and forth with Abraham Lincoln. And she went to the White House because, they were against slavery and they were against war and all this stuff. So she wanted to go to the White House and see if she could help with anything, stuff like that. So what happened, Abraham Lincoln was so impressed with her that she brought him to tears. And so he asked if they could correspond back and forth. So when he was assassinated in the theater, Abraham Lincoln, her letter was found in his pocket.
It's so wild.
Right?
Oh,
It's
wow.
crazy history. Yes. Crazy history. And then after that, the Kellers had purchased it, and the rule was there that she could live there until she passed away. Mrs. Keller, she married a doctor, and so a lot of prestigious families lived there that had a lot of money. And she was able to live there until 1992 when she passed away, and then that's when the Masons, they actually own the building, and so they took it over from there, and they actually had their offices were in there at one time, so that's why it was so the upkeep in there, right? Todd, Carmela, you'll agree. From 1700s is pretty fascinating.
Yeah, go
Yeah.
ahead. Yeah.
It's pristine.
Yeah, it's pristine. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a gorgeous location.
Yeah, I mean they have air conditioned heat. They have it's really nice condition. They really took care of it, for being that old. So it's a nice place to investigate. Yeah. So that,
So you get
yeah.
the 1700s history of that, the
Mhm.
connection with Abraham Lincoln, and then it became a Masonic temple.
Well, yeah, it was an office. They didn't worship there. They actually worshiped. There was another building they had built right next to it. It's so they kind of
Right, for their meetings and stuff like that.
their meetings. Right. It's just their office for them. Not they didn't worship there.
I'm sure there wasn't that much difference between the temple and the offices. That's where they made the decisions of what type of ceremonies they were going to have and who they inducted, and that's awesome.
Yeah, it's a pretty fascinating place with amazing history.
So how big is the location?
How big? Well, it's 4 floors. That's all.
Oh,
wow.
So yeah, and it has an attic, but the stairs are broke. So technically 5, but the stairs are broke, right now. So you can't go up in the attic, but it's the basement, and then there's 3 floors you can go in. So it's a nice place. And the ground is still a farm from 1700s. There's still farm there.
And that's one thing.
wow.
Yeah,
Cool.
and that's one thing. We've been there 3, I think, maybe 4 times now. And we've had so much
Inside
that we even haven't had a
outside.
chance to get outside and investigate yet.
Yeah.
That is phenomenal.
Yeah. So there. So that's the history.
Yeah. So part of that history, I just want to add on to the Eliza Gurney part of the history. Beth, I don't know if you were aware, and we've only been one time. It's called the Columns Museum up in way up north. It's on the PA side, but it's basically as far northwest you can go in New Jersey, and it's right on just across the bridge in PA. It's called the Columns Museum, and they have what is called the Lincoln flag. So it's the actual flag, Bunting flag, and it has his blood. And they came and it's preserved in the National Archives came and built a special case and stuff.
Wow.
So it's a cool place. You had a cool experience there, right? With we were doing Q&A sessions by the flag and stuff, and we got some direct responses and mutual friends of ours, Rich Michella, Jenny Colucci, Ron and Lourdes. They've all been there, and they had I think they did, they had direct responses. And I think Rich actually asked, he's like, is this Mr. Lincoln, are you here? And they got a direct response through one of the devices on an EVP, I want to say it was, or something like that. So
yeah, it's cool. Yeah, I have to get there. I was never there.
But yeah, just all this history and the close proximity and so it really is amazing.
Well, the amazing part about the connection of the history is people go, oh, well, so it had connections with Abraham Lincoln. He was the president, of course. Gettysburg and West Hill and this other location, it's not surprising that they have connections. No, it is surprising because Abe didn't have Air Force One.
Right.
You got to remember, back in these days, all these older locations that have these connections like Abraham Lincoln and George Washington and all the history on the East Coast, these guys traveled by horse and buggy.
Right.
Yeah.
It would take days to get from location to location. Oh, I would have loved to have met Abraham Lincoln too. God.
Yeah.
He was seen in there, wasn't he? I didn't see it.
Yeah, he was seen, and a couple times he was. Yeah, a couple paranormal groups have connected with Abraham Lincoln there, so it's pretty cool.
Wow, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
So speaking of, Mike sent some evidence in. Is that all caught at West Hill?
What evidence did he say?
So I'll start with this one.
No, oh yeah, that was probably one of the best apparitions I've ever seen in my whole 20 years of doing paranormal investigations. No, that was at a campground close to the shore a few years ago. We did a psychic healing event, and then we did a paranormal investigation at night. And that girl that you see there, she's one of my psychic development students. and she was sensing someone standing next to her, and she said he's very tall. And then the other pictures, you see him like slowly coming in to the frame. That's let me put my old lady glasses on 1 minute.
Yeah.
So this is the
that's
second picture. The
so
first,
okay. I'm going to go back just a little bit. So before that, we do an EVP
Oh, yeah, yeah,
session
yeah,
in the
yeah.
boathouse, right? And the guy. All right, so the caretaker the man that used to was the caretaker there at this camp, which is recent. It's been closed now for a couple of years. It was a camp for the blind that they used to come from New York. They used to transport them to this camp site, but they couldn't raise enough money to keep it open, which is sad. So we were trying to make money to help to keep it open, and so we were doing an EVP session, and one of the board of directors there was talking, figuring maybe she can make contact with him, and he just died like a month ago, like a month before that.
oh wow.
So I think his name was Jim. And then she said, "Are you here with us?" And then we got a response on the recorder saying, "Yes, I am. Yes, I am." And then my student, the girl that you saw standing there, Kayla, her name is, she said, Beth, I feel like there's somebody standing next to me. So I told somebody, which was Mike, I said, take some pictures, because that's how we're taught, take 3 in a row, but he took like 4 or 5. And as you can see, it starts to develop in each frame. His head comes in, then his hand comes in, and so on. And then he kind of comes in and he backs away. But then we saw a picture that was hanging in the campground, and it looks just like him.
Okay, so here's the first picture I want to point out to the audience. Notice there's nothing or nobody standing to her right.
No, nobody.
Now there is another investigator standing to her left.
Correct.
Here's where it starts to form.
The head, right? Yeah, the white part. Yep.
Yep.
And then here's where he starts coming into.
You can see, you can see his ear and his neck and a hat, and that's what and his hand, and he's wearing a dark. Yeah. Yep.
Wow.
And then
And there he
here's
is
where
again.
pretty much in full frame.
Crazy. I've never seen anything.
Holy shit. I'm
like
going to
it.
say it. Holy shit.
Holy shit. I say it every time.
And then here's the last frame. Now, this is really intriguing to me because if you look at the girl in the center, that's the investigator. Then there's an investigator to her left.
Right.
The girl in the center, the light is lighting up her face. She's very clear.
Yeah.
You can see the features of her face. You can see the shadows caused by the light. If you look at the gentleman next to her, his face never comes clear.
No. Nope.
It's distorted. Now the investigator to her left, the same thing happens here. But if you look at her, she's got a hood on.
Correct.
And she's sitting at an angle. He is face on towards that light, just like the girl standing in the center.
Right.
His features should be predominant,
Right.
but they're not.
Yeah, I've never experienced anything like it. Crazy, but
That'll give you the chills.
yeah, you definitely can see that it's a man starting to form, and
Now, question: did Mike?
Did he see it?
Did you immediately, or was this? Did you later on after you guys left?
We didn't see it till we looked at we went back because we were staying overnight. It was a campground. So we went back, into the main quarters, and you know how you just look at your pictures that you take. And we saw that, and that was like, just blew us away. Like everybody there was just like blown away.
Yeah, it is creepy AF.
So for everybody watching, AF is as fuck.
We can curse here.
Thanks for clarifying that, Chris.
Hey, we can cuss here. This is YouTube, y'all.
Yeah, everybody curses on YouTube.
And we're live on the UNX radio station. They don't have time to bleep us.
Yeah.
Beep, 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 beep. Ding,
The older I get, the more
ding.
I curse. It's just how it is.
So let's look at that progression again. If you look, there's nothing there. You can still, God, it's like he's morphing.
Yeah, it's morphing.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's wild. That really is wild.
and for her to sense that, which to me is even more evidence. You know, you sense things, you feel things, you take a picture. The more evidence you get, you know, the better you can, you know, prove stuff.
And Carmela, you can relate to that, feeling something, sensing, because what, the Montgomery house,
Oh,
right?
yeah. Mrs. Montgomery was behind him. I kept saying, "Don't move. She's there. Don't move." And I took the 3 pictures, and there she was in the 3rd picture.
Yeah, that was wild. And that was, you know, it would have been cool to see kind of the progress if we had a similar progression.
But we didn't.
But I'm happy that we captured Mrs.
Yeah.
Montgomery that way,
was
you know.
nothing.
Yeah.
Sure,
And
sure.
that picture that you guys got, if you put it side by side with her actual photo,
Mhm.
Dead ringer. No pun intended.
yeah.
I wasn't going to say anything.
No pun intended.
So that's
So-
awesome. And where was that at again, Beth?
It was at a campground for the blind up in near the shore, because if you go down, you can walk by the waters and you can see the Barnegat lighthouse. So it was close by, but it was, you know, on this side of, wasn't on the shore side, it was on closer to inlet side. So it's no longer there. They didn't raise enough money, so they decided to close the whole thing and never reopened
Oh,
it.
that's a shame.
Yeah, but we tried. I would have
But
went
one
back,
thing you
but
can guarantee is the campers didn't know about this.
yeah.
Trying not to laugh.
I'm not going to point it out, but those of you who caught that, they can pick up the EVPs.
Said, well, maybe they really felt his presence.
Maybe they felt his presence.
They
Right?
might hear him.
Yeah, you just don't know.
You never know. Sorry,
So-
Beth, if you haven't realized yet, there's no maturity to this show at all.
Oh, I'm not mature, so that works.
Yeah. Beth fits right in with us.
I fit right in. I'm easy.
So Beth, let's West Hill. So how many years now have you and Mike been caretaking for it?
It'll be, I think, 4 years in June.
Okay.
And how'd you get involved in it then?
Well, so how I got involved in I'm a medium, so I read people. One of my clients was part of the Mason, what do you call it, lodge, I guess.
Mhm.
And he had a reading, and then he said, oh, he invited me to come out to his lodge because they wanted to learn about the paranormal, basically do a paranormal 101. So we went out there, and another group was supposed to go to West Hill, he said, and they never showed up. I don't know. They didn't say who it was. But I was like, who was it? And so then you know, we went out there, and I built a good rapport up with Joe and Judy as the caretakers. No, I mean, you guys probably know, but I won't say it. Anyway, you know,
all good.
drama, paranormal drama.
Yeah, you're good. It's your rewards. Your reward. That's all.
Yes.
Right.
So I built a rapport. So I screen all the paranormal teams that come in, because I don't want, you know, anybody that's going to be disrespectful, that I know that has a bad reputation. Quote, wink, wink. But not you guys, but you know. So that's what I do, because I know I heard you hear about those two.
Those cocos,
you know,
we get wild and crazy sometimes.
Yeah, and I stay most of the time. With the groups, because we have to close it. Joe and Judy, the caretakers, they're close to 80. They're like 79. I just found out. So they drive like 45 minutes away. So they open it up, and then they have a key, and then we stay and lock it.
And I will say the one thing with having Beth and Mike, they were great as caretakers, and we actually, you know, we've gotten to know them a little bit, and you know, we invited them in, I think, our first time, and we had some to do kind of like a little seance at the end and stuff. And
yeah.
And we've had some interesting experiences with Beth kind of doing, and she's point on. So it just ties into the whole, you know, timing and relevance, and spirit is not. Right. You know, it's just not necessarily spirit about being locked at that location. It's, you know, spirits are always around us. So
yeah, they come with you. Yeah.
Yep.
Well, and the more that we do research and the more that we investigate, those of us that have been doing it for a long time, you realize that, you know, you've got that stereotypical stuff that you see on TV where oh, it's a residual haunting. That's a repeating of energy that happened because of this. And then you've got they're stuck here, that Hollywood stuck here because this is where they died. And we're all realizing it's all bullshit. That these are actual people. They come and go as they want because that's the place they love to be at, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they're not stuck. You're right.
No.
So Beth, what was your most kind of, because I know you and Mike are there a lot, what is your kind of like wow, one or two single wow moments, capsule-wise, of being at Westville?
What evidence have we noticed?
Well, just one experience, or
So, I mean, we do. Well, the one time it was one of the very first groups that were there, and we were all downstairs in the kitchen because there was only like 5 of us, and we hear, because one of the reports are the caretakers, they hear furniture move in, the normal stuff, the footprints and the footsteps, great footsteps. Saw my first bat in there Saturday night, and I didn't like it.
Oh no! Well, he screams like a girl, so you don't want him.
You don't want me to. I scream like a little girl.
You in there, Todd. Okay. And so we actually heard a table move across the room because this one team that goes in there, they videotape every room so you know where everything is in the house. And we looked back on the tape, and we heard a table being dragged across the floor to the middle of the floor, and we ran up there, and there was fresh scrape marks, and we looked through.
My goodness!
Yeah, we looked through the audio, and the table wasn't there; it was on the side of the wall. So that and it's never happened again. I'm waiting for that to happen. We've heard screams, which makes sense. Especially Suzanne, if you're having surgery, especially I mean any person, but as a woman getting your breast cut open with no pain meds, no anesthesia, you would scream too. I can't. So
that makes me hurt. I'm not a woman.
Yeah. Oh, can you imagine? But no, we don't want to. So
I got a question for you. The table moving, did you leave it where it ended up, or did you move it back?
I moved it back. And
it hasn't moved again.
Well, because it's the room upstairs, and they have like decorations in there. So I just, because it was in the way, I just moved it back. It's never, and I try to get it to move, but it doesn't want to move. So yeah, it hasn't moved yet. But I have other people like that group that was there that can contest to it, because we've all heard it, and we all, ran upstairs, and it was moved into the middle of the room. So that was pretty cool. The Abraham Lincoln thing was pretty cool. Another team was there, and I know some people may not believe me, but you know what? I don't care, right? So I had to believe myself, right? Hey, now,
Right.
So
That's what we're here for, to share experiences.
yeah, exactly. So the team was down. Some of the team, they're all over. It's a big team. They were down in the basement. They were getting. They got Abraham Lincoln on one of their.
Were they lost?
One of their things they had. I'm not sure. And then so upstairs in the living room, everyone was cleaning up. So there's this couch, one of those old 1800 couches in the living room, and he saw a tall shadow man, which Abraham Lincoln was 6'5", sitting on the couch. Here we go. So clairaudient, I heard, let him know he just saw Abraham Lincoln. So I'm like, all right, I'm turning around. Like, no one's going to believe me. But I said, guess what? you just saw Abraham Lincoln. And he's like, no, holy shit, fuck, if anybody's I would want to meet him. He said it was the best experiences he's ever had in whatever, 30 years, whatever he was investigating.
Yeah, no, that's cool.
That was a cool experience.
Let me give you guys a concept. Abraham Lincoln being 6'5" back then was extremely unusual.
Right.
Yeah.
So when they build a house, they build buildings. Your average door size was max 6 foot, and 6 foot was considered a tall door.
Yeah.
Now imagine being a 6'5" man, and in the balcony that he was actually shot on. The reason that balcony was specifically reserved for Abraham Lincoln was because the entrance was tall enough for him to walk into that he didn't have to duck.
Oh, wow.
Right.
Yeah, because I want to say, just adding on to that, Chris, like every, movies that I've seen with him, you always see him kind of
hunched
Yeah, like
over.
hunched over.
punching over and going as he's going through like a doorway or something like
Yeah.
that. So that
Right.
would be representative of that time period or whatever.
Right.
So,
Yeah. That's fantastic.
And,
So Mike sent us some other pieces of evidence,
oh no.
and
oh
we
no.
can talk while we show these pictures.
She's like, oh no.
Oh shit! Damn it.
so I before
Oh yeah.
so before that, can I just I have my one personal experience that I want to that really is my wow moment, and I know she has a wow moment. So we were it was I want to say it was our first time, maybe it was our second time.
I think it was our second
It may have been
time.
our second time.
It was our
And
second time.
we were upstairs, and so the surgery on Susanna was done in her main bedroom on the second floor. And we were in there investigating. It was me, Carmela, Matt, Lori, Matt and Lori, who we investigate with, good friends of ours. And they had gone downstairs, Beth, Mike, and everybody else. I was the only one. I was still collecting all my shit, aka gear, tripwire, and camera. I still had my camera running. And as I'm collecting the tripwire, I hear, because there's the main bedroom, and then there's a couple doors that you can enter to the main bedroom, and then there's I go into the other room to get something, and I hear a distant, loud female scream, and I'm like,
Uh-oh.
and I'm like, what the fuck was that? And I go out and I look and I hear, and then I'm coming back and I hear and then I walk in and I'm like, huh, that's interesting. And I had the camera still rolling. I walk down the stairs and I'm like, hey, question. Anybody scream? That sounded like, did any of the ladies scream? And I remember Beth's like, no, it wasn't us. Carmela, Lori, they were like, no. I'm like, all right, well, I think I just heard Susanna just screaming. So it was a wild experience.
Yeah.
And it's like you're shocked when you hear it, but you're like,
Yeah, you're
oh,
like, wait.
did I really hear that?
For sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
What was your experience in the basement?
Oh,
You
I
and
had
Matt.
Matt and I were in the basement. I don't know what we were doing, but he said, do you hear that? It sounded like footsteps were running toward us. He's like, now Matt is a big guy. I'm little. So I go up the steps. He's like, run. He literally picked me up and threw me basically out off the step, because I wasn't, and he's a big guy. So he was running pretty quick.
He was like, all right, come on, get out of my way.
I don't know that we ever figured out what that was.
Yeah, it was weird.
Yeah. It's cool.
It was that, and then the time where I was walking by the doorway and I saw a woman standing in the hallway, and I went, oh, and I walked forward and I came backwards. I'm like, oh, she's still there. I'm like, does anyone see that? But I think you, Beth, you saw it, or Matt saw it. Somebody saw it with me. It was that time, and then there was another time. I'll think about it.
I want to point out something really quick. Raul commented, right? It didn't help that he wore the tall hat.
Right.
Do y'all know why he wore that top hat?
Why?
Why he wore that stovepipe hat?
Because he was bald?
It made him stand out in a crowd. It was political strategy, and his tall stature made him stand out. The hat further amplified his presence and made him easily recognizable. Not only that, he hid special documents in his hat.
Oh.
Oh, hey.
That's pretty smart.
And with his hat on, it made him 7 foot 8 inches.
If you keep hearing that banging, the dog keeps dropping her bone.
Oh, we
Hear.
hearing some.
We don't have spirits in the house.
Yeah.
Well, maybe we do, but it's not them.
We have a lot of spirits in the house, just not.
Yeah, right. Spirits.
Those
The
spirits.
liquid variety. That's
right.
right.
Right now, we got liquid spirits.
All right, so let's look at some of the stuff Mike sent in. Where is this? Is this Mifflin?
Oh no, it was Virginia. We were at a paranormal event there, or psychic healing event there, and it was a battleground, but we were in Virginia.
Okay. Here's what's interesting. Here is the first photo. Here is the last photo. Here is the second photo.
Oh. I was like,
I'm pointing, but nobody can see that.
Looks like Darth
Wow.
Vader.
Looks like Darth
yeah,
Vader.
it looks like Darth Vader.
Luke,
I am your father.
And Han Solo's still alive.
And Han Solo's still alive.
So here's the best part: is this is 1, 2, 3 clicks, right?
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
yeah.
That sure as hell ain't a bug.
No, we don't know what it is. Yep.
Yeah.
I believe that
Cool.
maybe a soldier
Looks-
forming.
Something, yeah.
Yeah.
But we didn't see it with, and
I don't
we
know.
didn't see it with our naked eye. We didn't see it.
Maybe if your eyes had clothes on.
Yeah, your naked eye.
That's true. It was too hot that day.
What's interesting, if you look really close at this photo, see here, and if you look here, so it looks like, about halfway, 3/4 of the picture is where the formation is. But if you look really close, it actually shadows all the way to the ground. Here's the first picture.
Yeah.
There's the second picture.
Yeah.
You can actually see towards the bottom in the grass, it shadows out the grass a little bit. So
Yeah.
this was actually probably about 5'6", 5'8".
Yeah. I can see that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess.
Alien Roman helmet, maybe.
Go back and forth. Look towards the bottom. You see where the solid, like chest-like feature is on it?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Look below it where it looks like there's nothing there. There is actually something there. It blocks out the grass.
Right.
Yeah.
Very soft.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Very subtly. Yep.
Yeah. That's actually a great capture.
So
Yeah.
cool.
I mean, can we tell if it's an apparition or not? No, but it is definitely something paranormal that can't be explained.
Right.
That's true.
And it extends pretty far. Like, I mean, it's almost so like where the actual what would appear like that darker portion shadow, and then it shadows out, in front of it.
Could it be like
Right.
a horse or an animal or
Well, here, let me.
Yeah.
Say that
a
again.
horse or like the bottom part? Could that be an animal
know.
that it's riding?
Could it be maybe like a horse, Carmela's saying?
It could be, but let
Could
me
be
do
any.
this.
Yeah.
I like doing this with pictures because I can share the screen and I can play with the image.
Andy Andrews has it hanging in his shop
Oh, does
Does
he
it?
really?
Nice.
in Gettysburg. Yeah, and he did send it out to a picture analysis person, and they cannot debunk it or
Right,
claim
right,
it as anything. So,
Okay,
Yeah.
so now I can zoom in.
you should really zoom it in.
Could
It's
be
really
an animal, like a
Yeah.
face.
What's amazing is it blocks out the shadow here.
Right.
Mhm.
Blocks out the grass. You can actually see where it's like a shadow
Yeah.
that's blocking
Yeah.
the green grass.
Yeah.
And it darkens it up a little bit. What's really weird is this, where you think it
Mhm.
might be a cat.
Yeah.
I mean, there's all different directions that we can go with this, but ultimately,
Elvis?
Is it Elvis?
Look, it looks like he could have big sunglasses on.
he's
Oh,
not dead.
Definitely,
He's
yeah.
a preacher in Alabama.
It's definitely paranormal. So that,
Yeah, no doubt.
And here's
Absolutely.
the picture before. Open. There's the picture before.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So it's hard to determine what it is, but it's definitely
Mhm.
unexplainable.
Yeah, unexplainable, no doubt.
You can see if you watch this area right here, see the grass where some of it's dead, some of it's green. It
Yeah.
actually blocks it out right here.
Yeah.
Yep, crazy.
And with the sunset in this area back here, there's not going to be a shadow cast from whoever's taking the picture because the light's coming from this direction,
Yeah.
not the opposite direction.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So interesting as hell. So I want to share the next picture. I'm going to do it on here. This is at Fort Mifflin, right?
I'll let you know in a minute. Yeah, that's a Fort
Well,
Mifflin.
That's
Yeah.
Fort Mifflin.
Look next to him, a soldier.
So this is an investigator.
Mm-hmm.
That's not a. Yeah.
This
That's not investigating.
is not an investigator.
No, and if you see, he's standing sideways holding a rifle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Yep.
And here's the best part. A lot
Awesome.
of people could go, that's the shadow being cast from this person here.
No.
Not when the light's over in this side, because the shadow
Right.
would have been casted
Yeah,
to
camera now.
this side of the
Right.
room.
Right.
Remember now.
Yeah.
And you can see it's like the other two people are darker,
Solid.
solid, and he's standing there, and then this person is like sideways, and it looks like he's holding a rifle. Like,
Yeah. Yep.
Like he's standing at attention. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Right. Yep.
But your light source is here. So
Yeah.
there's
Yeah.
no reason a shadow should be cast in this direction, and the shadow would be cast on the opposite side of the room. You
Now,
can
what do
actually see the light trail coming right here.
Yeah.
Mhm.
What do you suppose? So, what's in front, kind of closer in between the door frame and the,
Backpack or something, or a
on
barrel
the
of
floor?
something.
It looks like or is that like, yeah, that is
Well,
like
if you look, it's a solid object because there's a
The light.
reflection from the light
yeah,
right
yep,
on it.
yep.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, maybe I don't know what that is. Yeah.
Maybe a barrel or something. Kind of
Yeah.
resembles a small barrel,
Well,
maybe.
and if you look really close, this person has a reflection of light on their face,
Yeah.
and this person has a reflection of light on this side of their face.
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah.
No reflection.
This does not.
Yeah.
Hmm.
That's freaking.
That's awesome.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah. Got a couple good ones.
Mm.
Oh, this is in that one room that's shaped like a half round.
Mhm.
Yeah, they kept the ammunition or something in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The ammunition bunker.
Oh, is it the
That-
ammunition room?
That might be the ammunition.
Yeah, the
So I
first
got
one.
weird-
Yeah.
pictures on the opposite wall of that room.
Yeah, we've been there. We were there for a
Really
candlelight walk
once or twice?
tour, and yeah, she got some weird vibes in that depot, they call it, I think.
Mhm.
But I just want to point out to everybody that this person is not casting the shadow, because if you look at it, this shadow
Oh,
is
yeah.
actually further forward in the picture than this person is, and the light is coming from this doorway, the red light,
He's also facing them, so it's
right?
not-
And you can see the reflection of light on this person's face.
yeah, and it's not the same shadow. 'cause
Yeah, it's
they
not a
look like they're
reflection.
literally
Right.
Yeah,
like-
they look like they're facing each
facing
other.
each
He
other.
almost looks like he has a backpack on.
Yeah. I see.
I think
Yeah.
it looks like to me, it looks like he's holding a rifle. He's just, his
Yep.
arms
Yeah.
are like this,
I see
Either or.
that.
like face inside and the back. Yeah, but
So were you there? You were there Friday
I
night
was there.
for they had their first public investigation, right?
oh no, I didn't go to. I
Oh,
haven't been
you-
to. For,
It should be
this
casting
one.
that.
Okay.
I thought you meant was I there for that picture, and I was.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, no, we didn't go. I didn't go.
Well, in this,
We were at West Hill. We had the investigation at West Hill actually Friday night.
Okay.
I just want to point something out. I love analyzing pictures. This person here is almost standing in the corner of that room.
Yeah.
Right.
This shadow figure looks like it's 2 to 3 feet, possibly even 4 feet
in front of.
in front of this person here.
Yeah.
hmm
That is a freaking awesome catch.
Yeah, it is.
And this guy has no freaking clue.
Right.
He's just here for the party.
I want to know why this guy's staring at the wall. Can you explain that one, Beth? Why is this guy? Did somebody put him in the
He was in
corner?
the corner. He was in the corner.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, maybe he had to be put in the corner. I'm not sure.
Maybe he had a timeout. Maybe a timeout.
He was talking during the EVP session. We put him in timeout.
Timeout.
Yeah. You can only tell somebody no whispering so many times.
Mhm.
I know.
Oh, Beth makes a good point.
Oh,
Still guarding the gate. Yeah, maybe Beth.
Yeah.
Yeah, about that face.
Very.
About face, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to think. What else about West Hill? West Hill is. I'm trying to think.
I remember my other thing.
We had. Oh, I know. We went up into. Was it the third floor?
Mhm.
Is it the floor? What room has the? I think it's
Doll.
it's a-
Was it
that has the
with that
dolls in it.
case?
The dolls with the
The
case.
Yeah, the kid. Well, they call it the
Kids
kid
room.
room, even though
It's
they
like-
didn't.
it's like-
Everybody in the house had kid.
EVP there.
We
That
had
was weird.
we had some weird juju
Yeah.
there, up in there. Has that? Was there any one particular room in the manor that stands out activity wise? That West Hill?
Well, I don't know. It's activities everywhere. I don't know. The bedroom, Suzanne's bedroom is you got a lot of stuff in there. The waiting room where she was blindfolded before she walked into the surgery.
Oh, that was the other
Um,
thing. The face.
Yeah.
The window.
Oh yeah. So tell about that.
I looked up. I was in the car, and I said, "Somebody's staring at us." And of course, he thinks I was crazy. I am crazy. And I can say, "No, I swear, somebody's staring." Blah blah. So we took 3 pictures, and there was a face. Like you see, it looked like a man looking out over us. So we were like, "All right, well, we'll debunk it. Was it a curtain? Was it this? But there's no curtain. There's nothing up there."
And I think that is that.
Mhm.
So is that
was the waiting room.
Is that the waiting room, or is
Yeah,
that
that was the
Susanna's
waiting
bedroom?
No,
It was the waiting room.
it was the waiting room.
But yeah, I know we've had. So like downstairs is Eliza, where the reading room is. It Eliza's room.
Yeah.
Oh, the Christmas tree.
The Christmas tree where usually they put the Christmas tree. Hey, puppy dog. Hello.
That's Levi.
Hey, Levi.
Oh, you Levi.
Oh, Levi. Hello.
He's
Look at the camera.
How adorable.
Oh, Levi.
Yeah, we've had some good activity. We had some good direct timing and response with Eliza in the in her room where they have the Christmas tree where they set up for the holiday and stuff like that.
She likes music.
She likes music. Yeah, the spirits there
They
like
like
and
the
it
music.
was like the music. And what the heck was the one song that we had the tripwire set up and
Oh, Susan.
Oh, Susan.
No.
No.
No, it was a ghost. It was
I
don't know, was
forget.
it a Christmas song?
I forget what song. I'd have to ask Lori because it was time period, but I forget exactly. My brain's mush. I can't remember anything.
Nothing.
It's old age.
That's it.
Happens
So-
to the best of us.
All right.
Now,
We've got 6 minutes. I want to make sure we'll talk out the rest of the time before we close out. But before we close out and before we run out of time, what can people do to book at West Hill? Where can they find you guys and some of the evidence that you guys have captured from other investigations?
Well, they can contact me. I'm in charge of the paranormal investigations. That's my email, bethob67@yahoo.com. Or there is a West Hill Manor Facebook page that they could, I private message me on there. And, you pick a day and see, I have to be available also. It's usually Friday or Saturday nights. And, there's no, I would say max 10 people, 10 to 12, and there's no minimum. We've had 2 people come, which is fine too. So, and all the money goes to all the money goes right. You hand the money right to the caretakers, cash, and I don't make a dime because it's not about me. So, which is a good thing. Yeah.
I can imagine the mammograms hurt. They don't look like a fun device.
They're not fun.
definitely
Not
not.
fun.
Sorry about that, Mary Beth.
Not fun. We're all going nope.
Nope.
Yeah, can't. And that's what Mary Beth. Yeah, when I heard the scream, it's like that's the real thing. So yeah, it's kind of you can't even imagine what that pain would be like. So
No.
Yeah, and I just invite people to put their evidence that they caught right on the West Hill page, so they can listen to it. Or a lot of people now, everybody's on YouTube. Jason Halls and JV, they caught a lot of evidence. You can go to Jason Hall's YouTube page because they actually caught 2 apparitions. I don't know if you guys saw that.
Yep.
From West Hill, so that was pretty cool. And most of
Basement.
most
I think it's in the basement.
One-
The basement
yeah,
or
it's
in
a
the
big-
hallway,
one
or
in the basement, one in the hallway, in the door. But they caught, So that was pretty cool.
So one quick little thing. So not a lot of locations do this, and we were fortunate to be invited and having gone there. Beth, you guys did a presentation to the Board of Trustees, I think it was, at West Hill.
Yeah, reveal we called it.
Yeah, reveal. So that was pretty cool. We had
We're going to do another one because I think that's fun, and a lot of a couple of the teams said they've never done that before. So it's been what was it, last year? So we'll probably do another one because that was fun.
and it's good sharing with other teams and investigators to share evidence. Because isn't that it reinforces the findings, the experiences that every different teams go in there and they're having similar experiences. So
That's true.
I wish there was more of that,
Right.
Yeah,
So
I know. It's.
I
Yeah.
applaud for you guys
Oh,
for
thank you.
doing that.
Thank
Oh, yay.
you. So
Yeah, Owen.
We had to get back, so we got to do more.
yeah, we'll do it again, but yeah. And
That's awesome.
yeah. And I'll be at Penn. Are you going to Penn? We'll be at Penhurst next
See you on
weekend.
Saturday. Yeah, we'll see you
We'll
Saturday.
be Friday, Saturday, and Sunday because we're working
Thursday.
again. Yeah. And yeah, and then we'll be at Gettysburg Battlefield Bash.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
Oh,
We will
yeah.
see you there.
Well,
There.
Oh, good.
meet
Good.
ya. Yay.
Yay.
Yay. That's awesome.
So it'll be fun. Yeah. Well, you guys been to Hoover House, right? Or no?
We have not. We have to get
We
there.
have not yet either.
You guys got to go there.
No,
Yeah.
we gotta, especially because they just opened up Audra because they just opened up a winery, so they're that's even more incentive to go.
A wine and beer.
Wine and beer.
But yeah, they're that's a nice place to go to investigate. Yeah.
Absolutely.
I'm going to the Shanley or the the Shanley. Which
Shanley,
one is
yep,
the New,
Shanley.
yeah.
Shanley.
Which one's in New York? Shanley, right?
Shanley.
Yeah. I always get Shanley and Stanley mixed up.
Yeah.
So,
Understandable.
I was never there, so I'm doing that in June. Going to investigation
That's
there.
awesome.
Yeah. So that'd be
We've been
fun.
3 times. We'll be there in June.
Yeah, we're going. We're going to
Okay.
be there. I think
21st.
June 21st. We're going to be there. I think
Oh, okay.
with Mr. Forget About It.
Mr. Forget, who's that?
It's
I don't know,
Anthony.
some guy.
Yeah, some guy.
Community.
What am I
He likes
doing?
Coolies.
Oh,
He's from New York.
He calls me Chameleon.
I'm sorry.
It's all good.
It's all good. It's all good.
Chameleon, yeah.
It's the same thing.
Yeah.
All right, guys. It is unfortunately time to sign off for the night.
Oh, well, thank you for having me. It was fun. I
Beth,
enjoyed
thank you
it.
for being on. It was
you.
fantastic.
Yes.
I
I
hope
appreciate it.
I hope Mike feels better.
I will tell him you were
Absolutely. Please tell Mike.
that.
Send
Yeah.
our regards to Mike.
Yeah,
Will
we'll have
do.
to have you guys on again when Mike's feeling
I would
better.
love that. Yeah, yeah, and come over to West Hill.
That's right. All right,
Well,
guys.
when Audra and Chris come to visit us, we'll definitely bring them.
Good. All right.
Definitely.
It's a date. All
It
right,
is. It's
guys.
a date.
Thank you. Have a
All right,
good
guys.
night.
Thank you for
Thank you.
watching Stay Haunted this week. Remember, guys, if you want to go and talk to Abraham Lincoln, you want to hear a lady scream because she's having an extreme mammogram from the 1700s, you got to reach out to Beth. You've got to reach out to Mike. You got to book your investigation at West Hill, and you got to make sure, above all and everything else, you tune in next week to Stay Haunted, guys. We'll see you next week. Have a good night.
Nice.
Thanks for joining, everybody. Have a good
Thank
night.
you. Good night.